Hey guys, it's your Mark Madman with our 28th Madman Podcast. Your home for all the latest and hottest gaming and nerd culture news for the week and beyond. I'm Madman, and I'm going to be discussing the many topics for today's show with our panel, CMoney and Doodle.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
I am Doodle.
Yes, they're back.
CMoney.
They're back.
IBC. ABC.
Why did I think I said ABC?
I know.
I felt like I said ABC, but that would have been weird. So we are back. Another week, another Madman Podcast.
Yes.
28, man.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of years, you know?
That's definitely not a lot of years.
A lot of podcasts.
I'm sorry, years.
A lot of years. 28 years.
A lot of podcasting, you mean?
Yeah, that's the one. Oh, I'm just so old. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. But we're here.
Yep.
And this is like a busy topic week too.
Yes.
There's quite a few.
There's not like a lot of filler.
Interesting topics.
Yeah, like stuff that we actually want to talk about. This is good stuff.
10 juicy topics.
Well, I will say that we've had a busy week with our channel.
Yes.
So the big thing is we announced our second giveaway.
Yes. We
technically
we announced our champ
but we
for
picked
the
our
first
winner,
giveaway. Mm-hmm.
which was rigged, and we already sent out Callisto Protocol for him.
He already got it.
He's one happy recipient.
Yep, it came a day earlier than we told him it would.
Yes. Shout out to Rig if you're listening. Enjoy that game, man.
You should be listening.
Right?
He just won something from us, but yeah. So he got that. So basically, Madman, being still his birthday month,
yep.
Oh yes,
decided that even though we're still have our Nintendo Switch giveaway,
if we reach 1,000 subscribers by January 31st, which guys is still possible.
It's still possible. We're at 580.
We're at 580, guys. Thank you so much for subscribing.
We're rocking and rolling.
If you have not and you're listening, click that button.
Yeah, just click it.
Hit that bell.
It's not hard.
It honestly doesn't hurt anyone.
It'll make us happy.
It doesn't hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't ever scroll through your subscribers, the list. You know what I'm saying? You just see what comes out. But that being said, so he wanted to do one that was going to be a definite for the end of the month.
Yes, he didn't want to put a limit of like, if we do this, if this happens. He wanted to do a certain giveaway.
Give something away.
Yeah.
So we found that, those unboxing shorts that we do, pretty popular. You know,
the Funko Pops.
Yeah, Funko Pops. People like them. People watch them. And we figured, what better way to kind of celebrate our community of people who do watch us on a pretty consistent basis, with no other than a way of having them win
a Funko
one
Pop.
of these Funko Pops that we've unboxed.
Yes.
So that's what we're doing. So the giveaway is simple. If you are a subscriber, you can go ahead and look at any one of our Funko Pop unboxings that we've done. Any single one.
Or many.
Or many, that's true. So anything that you want to do, if you go to any of the Funko Pops, you can go ahead, go into the video, go into the comments, and two things. Let us know why we should choose that pop to give away to a subscriber.
And why that subscriber should be you.
Should be you. And we will go through and we will see on February 1st, we will pick a pop that won, and then we will pick the subscriber that won that pop.
Yes. Now, we're not giving away our pops. We have to go and we have to either order.
Our babies.
Yes. We got to order one or pick one up. And then if it's picked up, then that's much easier. Like, it'll go out much faster. But if we order, once it comes, we will ship it out.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So that's exciting. It's really cool. Oh, man, I love the freaking Moon
fun,
Knight.
right?
That's so dope. It is fun. It's pretty cool. So we're excited to be doing another giveaway. Thanks to Madman for wanting to. And I mean, aside from that, I mean, we've been.
All you have to do is subscribe and comment on our videos.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's a
pretty
big one.
simple,
So
really.
it's
We
you
want to
gotta-
make sure you're a part of our community, you know?
Yeah. So I'll say it one more time as a whole to make sure we have it all right. Got to be a subscriber. You have to partake in what we offer, right? So you go ahead and you watch some of our videos, comment on them, let us know that you've been watching. Let us know what you like, don't like, all that fun stuff. And then make sure you are going ahead and commenting on the pop that you would like to enter into winning. And again, tell us why we should give that pop away and why you should be the subscriber to win it.
You have to explain why. Don't think you just ask. We're not Santa Claus, All right?
We're not Santa Claus. No, we are not. That being said, look, we're out here. So 5 days ago we put up our last one. It was a little late because we were busy that week, but we're here. And we put up the Callisto Protocol. Another gameplay. We're on part 6.
Man,
this is
what
like
a game. This game is freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, this is like our go-to, man. Our really good game that we're really enjoying right now.
That's our baby. A
It is our
little
baby.
baby Callisto
We
Protocol.
literally enjoy it every single time.
Yes, it's so cool. The game is so good. It doesn't get repetitive. We're always excited to play the game.
Yeah, and it blows my mind the way
yes.
reviewers talk about it. I just don't understand it.
I feel like
people hate the combat system for whatever reason.
Yeah, but the combat system is dope. It's
It
fun.
is. It's always something new. They keep adding. They keep adding to the game as you play. You don't feel like, oh my gosh, be done. You know?
Like it's literally every time we go through it, we play it, we enjoy it. Check them out. They're good. We really have fun doing them. We also did the circle,
finished
man.
the circle, guys. Finally caught up and finished the circle.
We did.
What a freaking show.
Yes, we are big Netflix reality show.
Netflix
I
groupies.
feel like they're super creative with the reality TV.
A lot of the time, yeah, they are.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
They're
Love
not
is
just
Blind,
doing
The
the same
Ultimatum.
thing.
There's a good handful of them out there,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So check that out. If you watched it, if you watched The Circle, get in there, watch it. Let us know what you think about what we thought. Go in the comments, share with us. Man.
Enlighten us, maybe, because sometimes you overlook things. Sometimes,
who was your favorite cast member? Did the winner
were you happy with the winner?
Were you happy with the winner? Did it piss you off who won? Let us know. It's fun stuff. And then
who were you rooting for, by the way?
Yeah, that too. The last thing we did was The Last of Us.
Man.
HBO's The Last of Us.
Yeah, so we watched The Last of Us on HBO. Funny because the next one is out today in a few hours.
Woo! Can't wait.
So we did watch this. We watched it last week, but we didn't get a chance to put up the podcast. But we did a Her, Him, and a Mike of The Last of Us. Kind of just going over the episode, what we felt about it. It's really good. Really good.
Yeah.
So check it out.
Check it out.
Absolutely. So
It also became it's tied with 3 other shows or 4 other shows.
Well, don't go into news, bro. Don't say nothing about the news.
Man.
The news.
Okay?
Remember The
You
Last
and your
of Us.
amazing shorts.
Yeah, you can talk about
and
that in the news.
unboxings.
Okay. So
By the way, you've been
killing it.
killing it.
With the shorts. So
For the most part, yes, that's true.
Keep going. There's fun stuff. And just so you guys know, we're all doing stuff here as part of Mario Kart Madman, but like the shorts, a lot of the stuff he's just kind of coming up with on his own. Putting them out
that's
there. So,
Madman's.
so that's
The
why
shorts are the breadwinners.
you might see us comment in there, but we're not just commenting just
to
because.
add a comment.
we literally
We're
haven't
watching
seen
it
these
with
things.
you
We're
guys.
watching it when you watch it. So
So you're doing great, Madman.
yeah, we like
appreciate
it.
I love it.
And then the other person who's doing great is our little
Purple Berry.
Ooh.
Who's up to 441 subscribers.
Yes.
And she is, she's doing pretty damn good.
I mean, she takes trends in like humans take oxygen.
Yeah, like she has her pulse on what's popping out there, and she definitely puts her own spin on things, and she loves doing her slime and stuff. So
if you have not checked out her channel, go check it out.
Absolutely.
subscribe. You can't go wrong.
Trust me, if not Mario Kart Madman, then Purple Berry is the top channel you should be checking out.
Or both. Why
Yeah,
choose?
both of them. Get a little. I forgot I was a bad.
Depends
bitch
what you're
your
in
life,
for.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah.
So,
yes.
Congrats,
is it the
Purple
time
Berry.
that we've all been waiting for?
Yes.
The topics. So, the big meaty one. The Mandalorian Season 3 trailer debuted at halftime at the NFL Wildcard Playoff, and it looks great. Mandalorian is now the hunted. The other Mandalorians will play a big role in this season, and Grogu will return, as revealed in the Book of Boba Fett. So, what do you guys have to say about this?
I'm freaking
Excited?
excited. Yes, I'm excited because I know how much Madman loves the Mandalorian. I know how
Yes,
much
and
C
I love
Money
the
loves the
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Of
All right,
television.
you guys be running around Fortnite looking crazy as the Mandalorian.
I have to
So
admit,
happy that
the
he's on
Mandalorian's
there.
one made me like Fortnite. That's fact. So yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Listen, I haven't seen the show,
You have
okay?
not.
But from the preview, it looks very modern. I said to you guys that have not seen helmets in fight.
It's a space western. It's not like your
Yes.
average Star Wars.
But it's
got
so
very-
like crisp and clean and smooth, like so freaking nice.
it's got a very unique narrative structure, akin to like Cowboy Bebop from back when. It reinvents it in a way that gives that Star Wars flair and really adds to the emotional layers that come with Mando's and Grogu's story. So I think that Mandalorian is undoubtedly one of the best shows in television right now. Whether you like Star Wars, you don't like Star Wars. I know people who don't like Star Wars, but like the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
a
think
different
that
take on
no
it.
matter what, you got zero knowledge of Star Wars. There's something. There's everyone has something to love about the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
you know?
maybe I need to take a look and check out the actual show because I'm not a Star Wars fan.
Nah, but yeah, like you don't like even if you don't like Star Wars much, Mandalorian's enough that you don't have to be invested in the universe to like Mandalorian.
Well,
Unless you can't stand like freaky alien creeps like Grogu.
Now
But other than
Grogu is it's I have mixed feelings, right? It's super cute and then like ew.
Dang.
Get away from me.
You kill it.
Which
Well,
one is it? I don't
Actually,
get
Grogu
it.
did get
I
punched.
have
in
mixed
season
feelings,
one
and I
by a
keep
stormtrooper.
having mixed
That's
feelings
kinda
about
cool.
it.
That should be against the law.
Every time I see it.
I
Like,
mean, Grogu's.
is it old?
Grogu's
Is it a
cute.
baby? Is it what? What is it, guys?
So,
Tell
they
me
call it
now.
Baby
I need to
Yoda
know.
because it just looked like Yoda. It's not Yoda. It's the third of its kind or something like that that's been in the Star Wars universe. Yoda, Yaddle, and little freaky Goku. I mean Grogu. Gosh darn it, I called him Goku. So yeah,
I mean, I would say like, listen, Mandalorian is a big deal. Honestly, Mandalorian, the first season, really, I would say, was responsible for kind of reigniting, Star Wars, like the love for it. Like it really popped off after the first season. Like it really brought it.
I mean after
into the
Disney's
mainstream
like
for
mess up
everybody
of a
else.
sequel trilogy, like Force Awakens was good, but everything else was kind of blah. And basically, Star Wars was more coming a legacy franchise rather than something that everyone needs to watch. But I think Mandalorian, along with Clone Wars, which which at the time was doing good for it, but after it ended, there was dead silence. And Mandalorian basically brought it up again, and basically now, like, look at where Star Wars is. You know?
But
You
I
gotta
would
thank Mando for that.
I would argue that Clone Wars had nothing to do with any of it. Clone Wars was always only for the people who cared about Star Wars to begin with. I feel like The Mandalorian
It's
is
more
just a
broad.
good show.
Yeah.
Whether you know Star Wars or not,
That's true.
it's just a good show. And the big thing and why I think Doodle would like it is it's not a
Star Wars stars like Clone Wars. That's Star Wars, all right. Like it has lightsaber fights. It's got like the planets. Like it's very Star Wars. Like if you don't like Star Wars, you're not gonna like Clone Wars most likely.
Yeah. So what I
you know.
so what I was gonna say was that it's not like there's an overarching story that exists throughout the whole thing, but when you watch one episode, it's essentially a contained episode. Like
yeah, it's
like
a
there's a
self-contained
story
narrative. Yeah,
in
little narratives
that
within one
episode.
giant narrative.
Exactly. There's an episode that you are watching from start to finish, complete story arc, everything's done in that episode. And it does push the whole story forward, but you can enjoy every episode independently.
You know, Smallville used to be like that. It had a beginning, a middle, and an end, but there was an overall story. So if you watched an episode, you got a full episode where you just felt content with what you saw because it concluded. And then obviously if you wanted more, then you get the whole story as you continue to watch the episodes. But you didn't need to watch one to link it with the other one.
Yeah,
you know,
The Mandalorian actually has cited it as it's been cited as an inspiration, but Cowboy Bebop's definitely a direct inspiration for the Mandalorian and how it's handled. The narrative structure is almost identical, and Cowboy Bebop is responsible for popularizing that narrative style.
That's really cool. See, that's
I
what
don't know
was
if they invented
missing.
that style.
That's what misses from
what?
Yellowstone. I feel like you need to it doesn't
What are you
have
talking about,
that
Doodle?
feeling.
Yellowstone
Yellowstone doesn't have that feeling.
That's where we lost it. I
Yeah.
think this season, it's like there was no big overarching story to really care about or try to conclude.
Yeah.
And they kind of just left us dangling. They kept bringing in new little ideas or new things that happen. Like, oh, okay, this is gonna lead somewhere, and
It's
then
a
it
bit
just
of questions and answers.
they just
to a
keep
season.
moving
Exactly.
it forward. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't actually, give us something that's
It's like Phase
concluding.
4 of the MCU. What I mean is these newer batch of movies that Marvel's been releasing. Basically, it's sort of building up to something that just doesn't tell you what it's building up to yet. But probably the next season is gonna solve everything.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
We'll see.
I don't
But-
know. Maybe Yellowstone's a case. I think Yellowstone's becoming a case of they should have ended it earlier.
I don't know. I
No,
hope
they need to get to
should-
the
yeah.
conclusion of this story because we're
We
in
want
it.
to know. I need to know.
Yeah, we're fans of the show. We want to see it, but
I'm not digging what's happening.
no, right now it's too much of a.
It's fluff.
Yeah, they're not giving us what we want, which is the big answers. Let's start making the big answers, make them easy for us to just experience.
Exactly.
We don't want to watch 16 episodes that are going to lead to the same conclusion. Start making big moves so we can see it happen. But nonetheless,
Pedro Pascal is
Pedro
on
Pascal
freaking
it's killing
fire.
it out in the
Yes.
streets.
As the
Pedro Pascal's the
Mandalorian
man,
and as
know?
Joel.
He is
Right.
Joel in The Last of Us, the
Yes.
HBO Last of Us. He was an alumni of Game of Thrones. So basically, Pedro Pascal's been all over the place. His name got out there with The Mandalorian, but he's kind of always been there. You just never realize this sort of thing.
Yeah. Is it? I'm freaking obsessed with the Mandalorian's helmet. Is
Oh my
it
God,
acceptable to rock it, get one and just walk around with it, or
Yeah.
go out to the stores and stuff? Does it
Perfectly
have to
normal.
be
Yeah. No, and you can
Halloween?
drive with
Weird
it
about
too.
that.
Oh,
Because helmets are safety first, and you don't need peripheral vision when you're driving. You just
no.
look through
Okay.
the tiny T crack on the visor,
Yeah.
and you're good to go.
Man, because I'm really digging it.
No,
What
it
if
I
is
feel like
dope.
it'll be a
Oh,
cool look
it is dope.
for me to rock around
Mandalorian-
all year.
Mandalorian,
You know?
in a very short amount of time, has managed to
Become a
make
pop
me
icon.
really like him as a character. That's my favorite thing. That's the thing. I'm not a huge Star Wars person per se, but Mando, he's fire. He's right underneath Master Chief for me. He's
In terms
that
of
good
Star
of a character,
Wars-
that badass of a character.
You kind of just walks in, it's like, oh, it's the Mandalorian. For me, Mandalorian, Mandalorian's awesome. He's second only to Darth Vader. He's epic. He walks in a room and is like, oh, take your seat, everyone. It's the Mandalorian. He's gonna do some crazy sort of thing, you know? You never know what to expect.
Well, I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't look at him more doing crazy stuff. I
Well,
look
not
at him more
insane,
just as
but it's like he's the boss.
he's similar to Master Chief, where
He
he's
runs
quiet.
it when he walks
He
into the
doesn't.
room.
He
Yeah.
doesn't he's not a man of many words, but when he talks, it's impactful, and he's not fluff. He is a badass. So no, he's not. He doesn't. He's not like Superman. He's not impenetrable, but he gets the job done. And I respect the shit out of that. I love his armor. His character is dope. I have quite a few statues of him around, and I do like him in Fortnite.
And there's something about this guy, when you just
got
saw
a
his
vibe,
face,
you know?
right? There's something about him. I haven't seen him in much, right? For me, and I know you guys praised him as the Mandalorian, but I did see him on that first episode of The Last of Us. But there's something about like his face that makes you feel something as an actor, you know?
Yeah, there's a few actors who have that look that is like you,
man, I
you
want to be his
believe
friend.
it. It's
Yes.
believable.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like he takes a role and you
Like,
believe him in
Yeah,
that
like
role.
almost like, oh, you know,
He could be
It's
the
the
villain,
eyes, I
and we'd
think.
probably start rooting.
I
for
think
him,
so.
sort of.
yeah, you see the
Yeah.
the soul, right?
Absolutely.
The window to your soul.
Well, I think we're all looking forward to season 3. I think Doodle might take a dive into the world of
Trust
We'll see.
Mandalorian.
Do I have to start with season 1? What kind
I
of show
would,
is
just because
this?
it's really good.
Yeah?
I mean, it's again season 3. You could like season 2. You could just hop into season 3, and it's not like you're missing
You
that
could,
much.
but that,
you just
that
want the
relationship,
background of it.
the relationship between Mando and
Grogu kind of
Grogu is already done. Like you already got that connection.
yeah.
Basically, Ellie and Joel,
Oh, shoot.
the first part is like that with the new episode. Like he's
All right,
looking
well,
at like
don't
this
tell me
thing to
just in
do.
case. Don't tell me.
But
Don't
now
tell me.
now they're cool. So you want to see the struggle first.
like it's like a father and son almost.
Yeah,
like
you
he
want-
really loves him.
yeah, you want to see that struggle before. That being
Season
said,
3, like that's they reached the peak of their relationship. Now it's Mando and Grogu.
yeah, now
Yeah.
we're just gonna see what they do together, what fun hijinks they get into. But
Remember,
yes,
he was a job back then. He was kind of like, I gotta take this little fucker over to like, I think he's a bounty hunter, so he's bounty
yeah.
until he's
Well,
like,
this
oh my god,
is
I actually love
crazy.
this
Let's
kid, and
not-
he starts running away with it.
Let's not go too deep for Doodle, because she might want to see it. So
Yeah, I think so. It's very.
Yeah.
It sounds like The Last of
So,
Us.
that being said, Mando season 3, fire. What's next, my boy?
Speaking of high television shows that are phenomenal, it is confirmed that Attack on Titan: The Final Season Part 3 will release in 2 parts. With the
Ooh.
first part airing on March 4th, 2023 at 12:25 a.m. specifically. The second part will air later in 2023.
Yeah, but that's JST time.
Oh, well, I mean, it's still gonna be March 4th for the
Man in time zones are not his friend. Don't
I have a
ever
lot more
ask
friends in
Man
time
what time
zones.
something's gonna pop off.
No.
Because you'll be like, oh man, I'm so pumped. And then it's
You'll be
like,
sitting there
well,
waiting.
you're about 3 hours early because it wasn't 3 p.m. our time.
I call myself fashionably early.
Yeah.
There
yeah.
you go. There you go.
All right, yeah, this is pretty hype. The first season was absolutely phenomenal, near perfection. Like it was so good. Season 2, yeah, more of the same. Too short. It was really short for some reason. Only 12 episodes. It felt like by the time it ended, it was just getting started. Season 3, it had a rougher first half, but season 2 was able to make up for it because it was really solid. Fourth season, a dramatic turn. Like it almost feels like a whole different show. Like none of the characters come back, at least in the first part. The perspective is completely different. You're checking out the villain side of the story, and it's about the Titan shifters and stuff like that, penetrating humanity, and you take upon a bunch of new characters, specifically Gabby, who ends up being an arguably even better character than Eren. Like at first, I was like, oh, like why no one's there? This is upsetting, but the characters instantly become really like interesting characters. Arguably, some might even be even better. So
Man,
I
real
think
quick.
that with season 4, this is definitely the craziest season yet, and honestly, I'm really excited for this. Part 3 is only 2 episodes, but they're meaty, huge episodes. And the first one is going to come out, again, March 4th. And the second part will come out later this year.
Okay, so real quick. I just read over, 2 things. One, if you're watching this video and you saw me going crazy,
Yeah, shaking it
you
up
saw
and
me going
down. Yep.
crazy while I played the trailer, that's because I'm trying to juke and jive against the getting a strike from copyright
Whoever
strike?
makes,
Mhm.
Because I played Chainsaw Man or whatever
trailer,
in the trailer, and they try to take us down. So
Yes.
I'm just
those
trying
clowns.
to beat the algorithm.
Yes,
You know?
but from what I saw,
It does look
dude,
cool.
what the heck? Those Titans look
Yeah,
insane.
they look dope.
I don't know what I had in mind with the whole Attack on Titan situation, but that looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks dope for sure.
Yeah, it's really something else.
But the
It's-
other thing, man, was this is being released in Japan on that day.
if you have like Crunchyroll or Hulu, they stream it simultaneously. They
Yeah,
do
but
simulcast.
it says it has not yet been confirmed if the show will be simulcast on Crunchyroll.
So simulcast is what we want. That means that it'll release day and date, or at least I think it's an hour apart.
But that's what I'm
But-
saying. So we don't know if we're getting it It could just be coming out in Japan.
No, because of how popular it is, it would be stupid not to, which I think that even though they didn't directly say it, it's bound to be confirmed, even if it's like a little bit later or right before it comes out.
But to be clear, while we're telling people this, it's premiering in Japan.
So
this is not for us.
Book your tickets.
I'm going to fly
out
down
to
there.
Japan.
And I'm going to go buy a Japanese TV.
Yes.
And then I'm going to fly back and plug it in because that's how it works. Okay?
Oh my God.
That's how you get, that's how I watch all my new Japanese animes.
I'm going to hijack Japan.
I go get a TV directly from
Japan.
them.
Yeah, and
they can't find me. How do they know? Electricity is not different in different places. They have no idea that I got one of their TVs in my living room. There's converters.
Do they take me for a moron?
So, cool, man. This looks good. I'm excited. I'm happy for you, and I would like to watch it as well to see. I would like to watch the first season.
What the hype's about, right?
Yeah, because I can tell you right now. So, Madman and me were at a GameStop, right? And I got him. Madman and I. Sorry.
Wait.
And I got him a.
Me?
I got him the 4-pack of the
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Was it Jujutsu? Yeah, but I also picked up that Attack on Titan box, right?
For the final season.
Yeah, the collector's box, right? Is the final season, and that guy who worked there, literally told me he was first of all he was literally pissed.
You had pre-ordered it.
He was pissed that we came to pick it up.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what the what's wrong with this guy?
Here's your crap.
He was like, oh yeah, I'm the one who called you on it a few days ago. He was like, I told my boss, if they don't pick this up by the end of the week, I don't give a shit. I'm keeping this.
Oh my gosh.
This guy, bro.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yo, he's hardcore.
If we didn't come, he would have 100% probably ran away with it.
Apparently,
he's so hardcore. He did not know that at the place where he works, they were
he could have just ordered pre-ordering.
Yes, they were taking pre-orders for the box.
Yeah. And she told me about it, first of all.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, you like Attack on Titan? Well, there's this box you can pre-order. Like, come on, man.
Wait, who's she?
The lady who was working there when I pre-ordered it.
When it was pre-ordered.
Epic. I don't know. I mean, Attack on Titan is no longer just simply a niche, if you like anime sort of thing, because in 2021, it won the Global TV Demand Award for most in-demand TV series in the world. Not like on Crunchyroll, in the world of every TV show that came out in 2021. That's pretty impressive. So,
I mean, I don't believe that, but I take your word for it.
It was awarded. It's a documentary. If you look at the
but who gave this award and who asked everybody in the world who wanted to see what? You know what I'm saying?
Crunchyroll.
No, it's streaming numbers. Crunchyroll numbers.
Roll.
It's streaming and cable numbers.
Yeah, but
viewership. It was a number.
But they don't have the access to every. Like Netflix doesn't give out their information. So like, I mean, I would take that with a grain of salt.
I mean, that was the year Walking Dead and WandaVision came out.
You know what I'm saying?
I get that.
So it's a bit much to say. No one thought about anything more than this. That being said, I am also done thinking about it. So what is the next topic, my friend?
Well, I'm just so glad you asked. Because speaking of record-breaking shows, Velma becomes the third worst rated show of all time on IMDb and the number one worst rated animated series on IMDb. The series scored 1.3 out of 10 stars since its release, and it has been met with nothing but massive controversy and blind fury. So what do you guys have to say about this? This poor show.
Bull crap on that.
Shit.
Yes.
It doesn't deserve the hate that it got. It's a bit much. Like,
it's not a bit much. It's just much. Like, it's too much.
Outrageously
It's ridiculous.
Much.
The show is really good.
So I'm gonna preface this. We'll talk about it, but we're not gonna talk too much about it because Doodle and I are gonna do a her, him, and a Mike.
For sure.
Reality versus reviews, or reviews versus reality.
Because this is insane.
Yeah, because it's stupid. This show is funny. Yeah, maybe the only thing that happened in the very beginning, I was like, okay, well, what the hell is this? Is when they showed the two cockroaches like banging for a second. But aside from that,
but it's the kind of stuff that you expect from this type of show.
Yeah, it's like a Scooby-Doo.
Into the.
No, it's not Scooby-Doo.
No,
it's really
Velma.
not,
She's
bro.
one of the key members of.
It doesn't matter. She could be part of any team in the world. You don't watch, Spider-Man and be like, oh, but he's an Avenger. No,
he's not an Avenger. He's never been an Avenger.
Okay.
Well, I mean, obviously in the MCU he's an Avenger, but he's a solo hero in general.
Oh yeah, in the MCU he's an Avenger. So then he's an Avenger. So he's an Avenger. Got it.
Thanks for the clarification, Madman. So Velma is a product of our dear friend Mindy
Kaling.
Yes.
From
Mindy Kaling.
Office fame.
From the Mindy Show fame.
The Mindy Project, you mean? Bro, you didn't even know its name.
That's true.
Damn. The Mindy
That's true.
Project. And
The
from
Mindy
the upper, she started.
But it was her show, right?
Yeah, it was her show. And The Office came first. She
was barely in it though.
She was barely in it, but she did a lot of, I believe she did a lot of the writing and producing of
I mean, The Office is one of the most popular television series of all time. So being in there is no like, oh, I was in The Office sort of thing. Like, that's a nice chunk of your resume.
Yeah,
So-
that show was hilarious.
Oh, it's a very funny show.
Yeah, it was.
Possibly one of the best
It was,
sitcoms.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And Mindy, she wanted to do this show. So first of all the people crying about it, not meeting out
welcome.
their standards. How about we say you're welcome
Well, we
because
say
the
thank
show
you.
wasn't going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. You say thank you. Yeah, because the show wasn't going to happen. She wanted to do it. Now, could she just have left Velma white? About 65% of my brain says if she was white on the screen, people wouldn't feel the same way
I
as
agree.
they do right now.
100%.
So that's the first thing. I think people are being
up
super
in arms
racist
because of that. Yeah.
because now she's Indian, which these are cartoons, guys. Okay? There's no real Velma out there.
Well, remember,
If they ran out of white paint the day they created Velma, she would have been brown.
well, to be
Alright.
fair, there's a lot of Black or Indian people who have complained about it too, who are like, I am Indian, but I still find this show abysmal and stuff like that.
I take it that those are not the people who are upset about it because of the race.
I mean, I don't think, like, I'm sure there are people in the world that are upset about it being.
The Indian guy is super mad that they made her Indian, for sure.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
They,
No, but,
they
like,
can't say, no,
know.
exactly. So what I
I
said,
mean, I thought the show was like,
what
it
I
was
said was
like,
that
I think the
the
show
race
has
was a part of it, right? So the people
I think
who
the
are
other
pissed
part
about the race
is the people who
are an
wanted
issue.
Scooby doing it.
Yeah,
You know what,
the
guys?
16
don't
people
get-
who are Scooby-Doo enthusiasts,
16.
okay, also upset because they changed Velma and
and a lot of the
they
characters'
forgot that
personalities
the
are
show
completely
is not
different.
called Scooby-Doo. There's no dog and
Yeah.
there's no van with all of them in it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like, and the character, like, people are also saying how like the characters are not have no resemblance to who they were and all that. Like, I mean, to an extent, like Shaggy or Norville in this show, nothing like him. Fred, I mean, people complain even Fred how he's completely different. Which I mean, I remember,
Their
I'm
personalities
not
are all
a diehard
different.
Scooby Doo fan, but I've seen Scooby Doo, and Fred was always the most boring character. He's basically the bus driver, so I mean, anything they do to him would be an upgrade. So, I don't see the problems. I thought the show was good. I mean, I think that where the thing comes for me is if you compare it to other shows like other adult anime series, like Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty is a million times more creative and a million times better than Velma.
Yeah, you can
look at
find
South
a
Park
million
or anything.
people who will tell you how shitty Rick and Morty is.
But what?
Yes,
But
absolutely. There's so many. Go do me a favor and go read the reviews for High on Life.
That's not Rick and Morty.
No, what I say? Go look at those reviews and then tell me about all the people who talk about the jokes being not funny and being nasty and doing all this shit and the cursing and all this shit, just like Rick and Morty. Why? Because the guy who made Rick and Morty made High on Life. So
Yeah, Justin Roiland. Yeah,
I
but
think
the
you can see
gamers
the
aren't watching Rick and
connectivity
Morty.
right there.
The people whose opinions actually mean something are actually watching Rick and Morty.
Okay, but we're talking about reviewers, my friend. Reviewers are bombing Velma just like they took down High on Life because of the way that the comedy is.
Well, actually, even like critics, like the show, like I'm looking up right now, and a lot of them are great. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. The show has
It
gotten
depends on
amazing
who
reviews.
is reviewing the show.
IGN.
Yeah, but
Guardian.
who is reviewing? A fan of it? Then yeah, a fan of it will give it a high score, just like IGN gave High on Life a good score.
The biggest
Because
problem,
Ryan McCaffrey
guys,
likes Rick and Morty.
It
He
has,
says it in his review.
92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
the biggest problem with this
that's pretty
show
good.
is that people are expecting it to be Scooby-Doo. Okay, and then the fact that
And
they
white.
changed, and the fact that they changed the look of the characters is another issue. And we're also talking about it falls into the whole like Family Guy.
Is that
it's
type of adult cartoon, right?
Which it's funny, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Right,
I don't
but
know.
I actually enjoy this show.
Yeah,
I mean,
we do.
thinking about Family Guy, like, it has funny moments. Like, I've seen clips which are downright laugh out loud hilarious. But the show itself, like, a full episode, I mean, Family Guy, not only does the art style look so uninteresting, it's just, like, it's not the best thing you can go out there. Early Simpsons was good. South
Family
Park
Guy
has
was
to be the
freaking
funniest
good,
of the
bro.
adult cartoons because they're so dark. Like, they get away with so much, it's literally insane.
Isn't
like,
that
even
crazy?
in the 90s, it would have been effed up, which...
That's
it's
true.
definitely one of the funniest out there. It's really funny. But they still are funny, which, like Simpsons and Family Guy, they're known like they were great once, but they're not that great anymore. They're just there to exist. South Park is the only one I can think of that remains consistently funny that isn't like Rick and Morty, which just came out. So, I don't know. There are better options, but I think Velma, the hate is getting is undeserved on another degree. It's way
Agreed.
too much.
But
Like,
isn't
it's
it crazy
really
that
harsh.
like we are talking about like we're with social media and we're in a generation right now that everything's like cancel, and everything you can say the wrong thing at any moment in time. But these shows get like a pass on all that nonsense.
Well, that's because South Park's
Because
been
the
around since like
viewers
the
who watch
90s,
it
and
like
they
it.
get away with it because they're old and they're kind of doing the same thing they've been doing. It's like when you have like a white old man. It's like, I mean, he's an old man, so it's not like he's in the public eye or something. But you know, it's
I
about
don't
the
even know
new
what you just
generation
said,
and
man.
teaching
What?
the new guys.
Man, you're going off the deep end.
Yeah.
I think
All right.
we need to reel back.
So
I'm drowning.
Velma, we're going to be doing our own
Discussion
her,
on
him,
this.
and Mike on it relatively soon. So look out for that. So with that, we think it's undeserved. So what's the next topic, my friend?
Allow me to clear my throat, my friend. There we go. Microsoft lays off about 10,000 employees. This move comes in an attempt to trim costs at the company. It must suck to be one of the laid off employees. So, what do you guys have to say about this?
So layoffs happen the same week that they this same week, just a day or two after, Google announced that they're laying off 12,000 employees, right? And nobody cares because Google just shut down Stadia forever, which again, nobody cares. So Google's just irrelevant, but they laid off more people, right? Microsoft, the only reason anybody's saying anything about this is because they have Xbox. And people like Xbox. And the reality is that those 10,000 employees, the 99% of them were not from an Xbox studio, but the small percentage was. So there was a small percent that did impact some of the studios, mainly 343 Industries, which
Poor
is
bastards.
they're the people who make Halo, and Bethesda, who they just bought not too long ago, bought last year. And, you know, obviously that's going to be concerning to people. It's going to make Sony fanboys try to laugh and point their fingers. And it's going to make Xbox fans nervous as to what's going to happen. Right? So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, Microsoft has like 200 something thousand employees. Like, it's an astronomical amount of employees they have. And as much as 10,000 employees is a lot, I mean, more than likely, they're not getting rid of the top quality employees they have.
I agree
right?
with that. I also think that the reason why Google they're not making a big deal about Google firing 12,000 employees, and they are noticing that Microsoft is firing 10,000. It's because of the whole Activision deal, right?
Yep.
I think that because they are bringing in 10,000 employees from Activision, it seems a little shady that they are letting go 10,000 of their employees.
Now, to keep this in mind, though, when you think about that, okay, remember those 10,000 employees that they just got rid of. right now comes out of Microsoft's pocket. Don't forget, when they buy Activision, Activision is bringing their own money that they pay those employees with. So even though they're bringing in 10,000 employees, that is at no extra cost to Microsoft outside of owning the company, right? So Call of Duty is still going to be producing the money that pays for all those employees every year. So they're not incurring a new cost on a yearly basis. I mean, they are incurring it, but they're incurring it with the new revenue that they're bringing in every year. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they want to lower their money. They wanted to lower what they're spending now. And then, they're bringing on 10,000 people, but they're bringing on 10,000 people with billions of dollars coming in revenue every year.
But I think that's where the red flags kick in. Now, do I think you're talking about Halo with the mess that took place when Halo was going to be released and it had to be delayed for a whole year?
They needed
I can understand why they needed to,
as much as
let
go. They had to get hit.
Listen, that was like a slap on the wrist, and it's kind of like the rest are, to do better, or, they might get fired next.
I mean, so one of the first things was when we found out, you got to remember, 343 has already been in a lot of transition, right? So, like, they already got rid of Bonnie Ross. They got rid of a bunch of the top people at 343 before this, right? They used Bonnie, I had to leave because, somebody was sick and all this stuff. So they wanted to take the time and go home, which was, I believe that's true, but I don't believe that that's
the whole truth.
The whole truth.
Yeah.
I believe that she was like, you know what? I'm not going to wait till you actually let everybody go right now. Right? She's like, I'm going to leave
I'm
now.
out on my terms.
And when she left, so did quite a few people. And then, but again, this is quotes, right? Because they probably could have just gotten let go as well.
Yeah.
And then they did the whole shift. They have 3 people who are in charge of 343 now and all this other stuff. So, like, the leadership has changed dramatically. Now, they got hit with these layoffs, and a good amount of people got laid off. Obviously, it's still a relatively small percentage of the studio. It's not like half the studio's gone or something like that. But it's still, is a significant amount. And the big one is our boy Joseph Staten, right? So Joseph Staten came on back in, I think, 2020 or 2021. It was after the first announcement of
Halo.
Yeah, when we first saw that trailer, that horrible, horrible trailer that Chris Lee was the director at that time, that he okayed to be put out there, where the big pop-in was coming out and just looked crappy. After they showed that, they got rid of Chris Lee and they brought in Joseph Staten to help right the ship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to close it, to bring it,
damage control,
to bring it home the right way. Because Joseph Staten is from the original Bungie team who made Halo. Okay. So he came in and he's been working really hard to try to fix it as much as he can. But now, when we're here at this place where all these people are being let go, I think now with the 3 studio heads that they have, like the 3 people who are in charge of 343, I think Joseph kind of lost his space there, right? Because you can't have so many people butting heads making decisions.
Agreed.
Right? So I think
someone has to lead.
Yeah, so he didn't get fired or anything like that. What they did was before he was there, he was at Xbox Publishing. So at Xbox Publishing, he worked with pretty much all those third-party games that were being made for Xbox, like As Dusk Falls and stuff like that. So he can work with multiple games to help them close instead of just Halo. And I think that Halo right now is in a good place. I mean, the single-player campaign was great. The multiplayer is in a place where it can keep going. So I think they're just leaving it up to the new studio heads to figure out the rest and leave Joseph behind, and he's going back to publishing. So he's not leaving Xbox, so it's not like a bad thing, but he's leaving Halo. So I'm really intrigued and interested.
We need him
see.
out. That's the point.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point we need fresh blood.
They need a refresh. They need a reset. Listen, Halo is their game. Like, is the face, essentially, in my opinion,
It
of
is.
Xbox, right? And when we have PlayStation teams working on games that are as stunning as Uncharted, and now Microsoft has the team working on Starfield, and we can see how beautiful a game can look, right?
Mm-hmm.
They need a refresh. Halo
Agreed.
should not be held back for a whole year. It should not have that much controversy going on. It should just come out and kick ass. And I think that that's where they should be. And I hope that that's how they're looking at it. You know, we need better teams working on the games that are essentially the face of our company or of our system.
I agree. I think to be clear, like Halo has been amazing. Like Infinite is a fantastic game. When it came out, it got amazing reviews. The gameplay was on point. The graphics were great. Not as great as it could have been, but they were really, really good. Well more improved over the other stuff that we saw. And the multiplayer was fun. And it was awesome. And it's still fun and awesome. The game as a whole, if it was released, okay, if we rewind time and they just said, we're going to come out with a campaign and your multiplayer and Forge, that's it. That's the game. You want the game to go on? Forge will continue. People will make new stuff. You'll be able to play new stuff like a Bethesda game.
Yes.
Right? Like Starfield or Skyrim, right? They're single player games, but they last forever because people keep making new things to play in there. That's what they could have done. Forge is amazing. People are creating amazing things right now with Forge.
Like it's almost like Fortnite creative mode, but it's like Halo themed.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like it's crazy, but it really is so good. They're making such good content. Like the fans are with Forge. If they would have did that and just released those 3 pillars and called it a day, no one would have batted an eye. Everybody would be calling this the best Halo that released, and there would be no controversy whatsoever.
I also think that had they had they just done it right to begin with, because remember, it was delayed for a whole year.
Well, because of because of how it looked.
Now,
in the
had it
leadership, they messed up.
released then it would have been freaking amazing for then. Like, when was it supposed to come out? 2020,
2020,
right?
yeah.
No, had they released the game that they released in 2021.
Oh, if it was up to that level of quality.
If I was up to that level of quality
Yes.
for 2020, because look at the games that are coming out this year. It's freaking insane.
Well, for 2021, it was a top dog. So for the year, it was
a good-looking
one of the
game.
best games that came. It wasn't the best looking game,
Exactly.
but overall, it was a beautiful game, and the game itself was a 9 out of 10.
Like best looking game, considering the fact that
Graphically speaking, that's what we would have wanted to.
That's what it should be. So that's the thing.
Yeah,
right?
Especially with the promo videos they did in the very beginning when they first were teasing the next Halo game. That was it was stunning, like so beautiful, so beautiful. But I mean, still, the game for what came out and what released was an amazing game. I would say is the best Halo game that was released ever. Obviously my favorite is still Halo Combat Evolved, but that's more because of the impact.
The original, and that's what made you love
the
Halo.
impact and everything that it had on me was a big deal. But as far as gameplay, how fun it is, everything. Halo changed for the better. They did this. 343 made a dope ass game. The problem is the leadership did not do what they were supposed to do, and they messed it up. The graphics were not where they should have been that first in 2020 when they showed us. And Phil Spencer made the right call and shut that shit down and said, all right, we're going to push this back because Halo cannot miss. And it didn't miss. To be clear, it did not miss. Halo Infinite is an amazing game. The only problem that exists was because of leadership, they were not ready for a live service game. So because they wanted a live service, They were not ready for how much content they needed to be able to produce to keep the players satiated, right? Like Fortnite, all these games, they come out with so much content on a daily basis, weekly basis,
But that's
new
the
skins,
thing.
new
You think
this,
about
new
it
that.
realistically,
Like, honestly-
it turned out to be a shit show.
Like Fortnite makes it look easy, but it's not. It's not easy to do what they do. They put so much and they do so much. It's kind of insane when you think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy how much they do.
They really do.
And these guys were not prepared. They never made a game like that before, and this was going to be a learning period for them. And I mean, the sad part is that you don't want to learn on Halo Infinite. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that
you
is
don't.
not the place
It's
to
not the
start.
place to learn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't risk Halo because of it, and that's the only thing that is a problem with Halo. And it's not listen, it's not a problem for me. There's enough content in there for me to play it, enjoy it, dip away, play something new.
Well, I
come
think
back,
you're not
go back
sitting
to
there like,
Halo.
listen, you promised this, so where's every little
Yeah,
bit
I
of
don't,
it?
I don't
you
need.
know,
I don't need a game to occupy every moment of my life. Even though I love Halo more than any series out there, I still want to play other stuff. I just play the shit out of Halo when it comes out, and then I play the multiplayer as the seasons continue now. And that's it.
But it is understandable that some people were waiting for that game, and that's all they wanted to play.
Yep.
So it's bad enough that they had to wait an entire year because it was delay, and then on top of it, they're still not ready. That's not cute.
Well, right
You know?
now in this exact time frame, I mean, we're like March is the next season, and they've been pretty good this season. I mean, well, their winter update that they did has been really good. They brought in Forge, they brought in co-op, they brought in a whole bunch of stuff that was missing from the beginning. And for all intents and purposes, season 3 should continue that, bring in new maps, new modes, all this fun stuff. So I think now they're getting to that part where they can go ahead and do something better, assuming that all these people that they lost doesn't make it a problem. But remember, you got rumors that, I mean, Certain Affinity already said that they have a big part in Halo Infinite. That's a company, Certain Affinity. They did the multiplayer. So the multiplayer lead for Halo 2, the one that blew up the multiplayer and did it great, he eventually left, made his own company, Certain Affinity. But that company has worked with Halo for like ever, pretty much. Like that's essentially what they're known for, is they do Halo work. They help with Halo.
Okay.
So they just announced a couple months ago in an official capacity that they're working on a major mode for
Halo?
For Halo.
Like, it's not
Okay.
that child's play,
Like
they're
their
trying to
whole
just, like,
team, like they have 100-something people on this mode. So it's not like a side thing. And what Jez Corden from the podcast Xbox 2.
The Iron Lords podcast, right?
No, not Iron Lords.
Oh, right. My
No.
bad. What are they?
Xbox 2 with Randall Thor.
What's her name?
He leaked it a while ago that they were making a Halo Battle Royale.
Oh my god, that would actually be pretty crazy.
That would be really crazy. But that's what they're thinking, and they're thinking even like bigger scope. So like a Battle Royale, but like there's people in the world, like the bad guys are in the world too, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Almost like Fortnite now, how you can go places and there's people in there that you can fight. But like that's what the rumor is. But they came out and said they're working on something big, and that's what else is there to work on except for Battle Royale. That's the only thing they don't have. So that's going to be a big thing. But at the end of the day,
At the end of the day, the biggest takeaway is that Phil Spencer doesn't just hire people and buy companies. He also fires
He didn't fire these
10,000
people.
at the time,
Halo,
guys.
I'm sorry, Xbox doesn't even have 10,000
people
employees.
at the time.
It's like
Satya
200,000
Nadella was the one who did it. Now, before we hop off of the Halo
No,
train,
whoa, I got something to say, y'all. I have to say that I think that 343 Studios or Industries, that they can do it, you know? Like, I feel like that this is obviously like, it's like the first time you ride a bike. You're bound to fall off. But I think 343 Studios, Industries, they learn from their mistakes. I feel like that they can honestly do something great if they just have the talent to do it. And I feel like that, like, Activision's coming in. Who knows? Maybe they'll get help from one of their vast studios, like Infinity Ward or something like that. Or maybe some other big dogs that are going to come in and maybe make Halo great again.
Listen, I do agree with the fact that now with Starfield and Call of Duty coming in and all this stuff, like they are gonna have to step up. This is gonna be what the expectations from, Phil Spencer of a game is gonna be completely different than what it was.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
110%.
So the thing that that was just confirmed though, or at least put a message out about was, there was a little rumor going on when all these layoffs were happening with 343 that they were going to be taken off of Halo, that they weren't going to be allowed to make a Halo game anymore, and they would only act as like the shepherd or like the keeper of the Halo series, but other studios were going to make the games, and 343 would just kind of make sure they're keeping on the lore, keeping that correct,
keeping
feeling
the essence
of the game correct,
the game, yes.
but that the studios would essentially be making their own things. Now, at first, it feels like this was a debunk of that rumor, but then at the same time, it kind of doesn't. So Halo put out a tweet that says, from 343 Industries, Halo and Master Chief are here to stay. 343 Industries will continue to develop Halo now and in the future, including epic stories, multiplayer, and more of what makes Halo great. Pierre Hintz, studio head. Okay, that's the message that was put out there. Now, as I got a chance to
unless they want to fire your ass, then you're gone.
Now, as I simmer on it, if you think about what he says,
he says that it's going to continue
to develop.
Yes,
that doesn't mean
exactly.
That means develop, which means
that doesn't change anything of what people are talking about.
That's what the rumor was, that they were going to stay in charge
and kind of overlooked because they're the ones who really know the essence of the game, but they're not at part to make the best
after
version
Bungie was
of
done
these
with
games.
Halo, 343 Industries was literally created for the sole purpose of continuing the Halo franchise because it's their cash cow. That's literally it. So they obviously must know Halo better than any other studio.
Yeah, I mean, they have a literal Halo Bible that they have. That
are you joking?
Yeah, because they won't break certain rules that are in that Bible. So the point is that this is not debunking that at all. Epic stories, multiplayer, more of what makes Halo great. Yeah, you're gonna be a part of it, but literally anybody could come in, make a game, and work with you guys. Why? Because they do it right now.
Yes,
they literally do it right now.
They bring in contractors.
They have contractors that come in and out. Right.
Yep. Which is ridiculous, by the way.
Yep. They also have certain affinity that works with them on the multiplayer and other aspects. And on Halo Infinite, the Coalition actually gave a big chunk of their team to help bring this game home and finish it up.
See, I don't understand. For a game like this, you will think that they will just have this team that it's rock solid, that is just innovative and can do anything to go and get this game going, because this is Halo. This is their freaking big game. And to hear that they bring in contractors and, it's like people in and out instead of just people that just work on the game and know that game inside out and what they want and what they're doing. Like, that's crazy to me. Okay.
So,
and the bottom line is that 343 Industries, that was made by what? By Xbox, right?
Yeah.
They put a team together. So it doesn't matter who goes or who stays. 343 Industries will continue whether the original crew is still there or if it's just brand new players going to make the game. And it's not going anywhere. Halo is not going anywhere. Master Chief is not going anywhere. 343 Industries is not going anywhere because it belongs to Microsoft, Xbox,
and they
Phil
do
Spencer.
want. Listen, I mean, this is the thing. For me, this would be a great scenario because I would love to have. I've always wanted side story games. Like, I want games that dive deep into different parts of the lore that are not just Master Chief focused. Right. One of the big things that I've wanted was for them to do like a horror type game, like
like Dead Space
like a Dead Space like game, or even if
they make Callisto Protocol?
Maybe they buy Callisto Protocol and have the studio make one for them.
Well, everyone would hate it, that's for sure.
But the thing is that I always wanted them to make a game where you were the Marines. like a squad of 4, like Republic Commando, the Star Wars game, the 4.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, if they did one of those, but like for Xbox, right? So you had the Marines, you're playing regular Marines who don't have superpowers, just trying to survive on a flood infested ship or on a flood infested planet or whatever it is. Like, and maybe you have to hold off. It doesn't have to be a super long game. But like maybe you have to hold off until the chief arrives, or they come and save you. Anything. There's so much more that they could do. You gotta remember, you got Halo 3 ODST that didn't have the chief on there. That was a great game. And you have Halo Reach,
Halo Wars. Like they've done
Halo
it
Wars. Like it doesn't have to
Spartan
always
Assault,
be the chief. I think the mainline game should always be the chief. But if you're making a side game that we know is not part of the mainline, it's just a side story, absolutely go ahead and have where you're having different crews. I would love to see id Software, the makers of Doom, show us a Halo game that they would make. Right? I would love to see Bethesda. I mean, obviously it won't be Bethesda, or Obsidian go ahead and say, you know what? Let's make a Halo RPG. How dope would it be?
The people behind Elder Scrolls, like the team behind Elder Scrolls,
or Oblivion, or Obsidian, or any of these teams. Like they should not. Halo should not just be the Master Chief first-person shooter. There should be an Uncharted type game for Halo, where you're out in the world playing a character. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's breathe some life into this world. Yeah, he doesn't have to be a Spartan. We're just in the Halo universe. There's plenty of planets that are involved with this game. Let's go ahead and let's make like a Mass Effect, right? Like a Mass Effect RPG,
like
but in Halo world.
Story with overarching like narratives and characters and stuff like that. Something spicier. The Halo's good as it is right now, but it could be so much more.
Yeah, it has to be commercialized,
Well, not commercialized.
The biggest
if
thing
anything,
about
that's
it,
decommercializing it a bit because it's expanding upon side stories that you normally wouldn't think about.
No, it's actually commercializing it, making it more commercial, expanding out, making it broader for more people to want to get involved. And not everybody wants to get involved with a first-person shooter. Third person is one of the most popular ways to play a game.
A lot of people prefer third person.
Yeah, they need to go ahead and give us some third person action. Give us a game where you're playing the Arbiter again or his people. Let's see worlds from a different side,
Yeah, they finally have after they made Halo Infinite, so much merchandise. They came out with the show. Let's just take it all the way and just, branch it out.
I agree. 150%.
100.
And this is our chance.
No,
this is our chance
5%,
for it to happen. That being said, I think we're all haloed out here. So hopefully
that's a good way of putting it.
Good stuff to come. All right, man. Madman, what's next?
Cobra Kai season 6 has officially been announced by Netflix, or basically confirmed, because we kind of knew it was coming, but it's just been confirmed by Netflix. It will be the biggest and baddest season yet, and will also act as the series finale. The final season. No joke. This is not a drill. It's over after this season. And what do you guys have to say about that?
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad it's over, but not because it wasn't good, but because it was getting to the point where it was like, where are you going to go from here? Like, this is supposed to be about kids in karate school, and like people are like trying to
kill each other,
people,
bro.
Paralyzing people. It's like, these are kids practicing karate, and they want to be the best karate school.
Having toddlers.
Why do people have to get murdered for this, dude? Like,
no one died, but someone did get cut with a sword, bro. I remember that.
Well, they kind of alluded to it a little bit. They try to make us think somebody died. They paralyzed the one kid for a while.
Oh.
Like,
they went down to Mexico to look for the other one.
No one must learn Cobra Kai.
This is the situation is that it's the premise of the actual show. It's a little out there, right? So you got to kind of wrap your head around it. The fact that they've been able to continue the show for 6 seasons, that's
impressive.
Now when I say 6 seasons, I'm being a little free with my choice of words. Modern seasons where you only get like from 8 to 10 episodes, right? Because we're not talking like deep deep
these are short
stories.
seasons.
Yeah, like we're not
They're
talking
getting, like,
24
20
to 26
seasons or something.
episodes as they did with like Friends or the 70s show
Or The Office
or
or
when
something.
you go back to King of
Or
Queens
Seinfeld.
or Everybody Loves
Seinfeld.
Raymond, Seinfeld, yes. So that's let's call it what it is, and this is like probably like 2 seasons maybe like put together between all of it.
Yeah.
Right? If you combine everything. But
I mean, they are longer episodes though.
are they? No, they're
Yeah,
They're
they're
not
like
28
they're like
minutes.
30 minutes to like 50 minutes.
okay. Well, maybe a little longer. I don't recall that.
Yeah, they're a little
so
longer.
I'll take your word for it, but
It's like
I
think
don't.
about Wednesday or Squid Game. Like they're longer, but they still have a short amount of episodes. But
Yeah, well, Squid
the
Game
length
is
long.
it's a longer. The shows are longer than the half an hour show that you see on television with the commercials and whatever. But I didn't think Cobra Kai was. I thought like the last episode had a little extra in there, but I didn't think the other episodes did. But they've gotten away with like this ridiculous idea and putting it into like a show. And we did struggle with season 5 trying to get back into it because it's like, oh my gosh, this is totally unrealistic. But it's like once you get into it and you forget that, you look at it for what it is, it's kind of like, okay, you get to enjoy the show, right? Which is what you're supposed to do with all, television. It's all fake, right? So
Well, most of
They're
it.
30 to
most of
40
it, yeah.
minutes, by the way. 30
30
to
to
40.
40. Okay. So the point is that it should end. It's
Yeah.
time. I'm the only reason why I'm kind of like, oh, that's not cool is because Madman obviously loves the show.
Oh yeah, it's
Um,
hype.
But I did enjoy the seasons that they've had. I figured they're gonna freaking have an epic season 6, knowing that this is it. It's nothing else. Um,
Yeah, that's
I
what's
do
cool.
love Johnny, so I'm excited to see how they end his story or like,
Let's see how they conclude the character.
how
arcs,
they
you know?
concluded to
I feel like they're gonna end everybody.
and his relationship
happy.
with Carmen. I love that too.
Jeez, watch this be so. This could be like the corniest ending. Like, no, this journey wasn't about ending Cobra Kai. It was about the friendships we made along the way.
Well,
The
guys,
end.
it's a corny show.
You're
So
very corny,
it's
so.
going to end corny, whether like whatever that ending is. So, but the show overall, it's corny.
I just want there to be a happy ending.
Yeah,
Nothing that makes you like, oh, they took it away at the end,
Like,
Yeah.
oh no, they killed off all the characters. Oh man, like they don't want so much like that.
Yeah. I mean, the
They're
nice
all-
thing is they,
they'll all be best friends.
yeah, they'll be fine. Except for probably like the bad guys, right? The bad guys will get
Yeah.
caught and that'll be in.
Terry Silver will probably get killed off somehow.
yeah,
They'll probably
something
kill him.
like
Like, no, we must make sure he never comes back and like shoot him or something.
So, the nice thing is the people who made this show, they wanted to, from the beginning, to be able to choose when the show ended on their own terms without it being like, yo, nobody's watching this show, so we're canceling you. And I think, and they said it right there that they got to do it on their own terms. So this is
Good,
going to
because-
be the last season because they want it to be the last season. Obviously, if it was breaking records again and doing all this crazy stuff, they probably would have figured out more seasons.
Yes, of course.
They probably noticed it's on a slight decline or on a bigger decline,
So
but it's
they're-
still popular
yeah,
enough
It's time to get out.
that they can just choose to end it.
Well, they have a brand to kind of protect, right? So this was from the movies, right? Back in the day. And now they made the shows. And if they get out like this, then there is hope for like something coming in later on. Whether it's like the kids having kids and their kids get into karate, whatever the situation may be. But if they go out and it's like they ruin the freaking name and it gets canceled or whatever, it will be much harder for it to get picked up again
Yeah.
later on, you know?
That's weird when I think about it. Because
I
Cobra
agree.
Kai, like usually when it comes out, that's like what's talked about. It's super hype. Everyone's talking about it. You hear that usually it gets super high streaming records on like its first few days. But even if you look at their all-time records, and not a single season of Cobra Kai I don't think any of them are in the top 10. And not any of them have blew up on the same level as Wednesday or Stranger Things
But
or
it's
Monster
because
or
it's
Squid
yeah,
Game. You
it's
know?
big for its lane, right? So
Yep.
when you compare
And it's
Cobra
a good
Kai,
show, so it's popular
yes.
when it's on.
So you compare Cobra Kai to something like Fuller House, which I don't know why they're running it, but you know, you
It's been
compare
done.
it to that. That's the type of show.
Yeah, it's
that
not
it
like in
is.
the upper leagues of shows, but it's it's a good show. You know,
I mean,
like,
Fuller House was popular for a little while there.
Yeah,
I think
Fuller
it
House
died
was
out.
good.
Yes, and I think they changed like the writers or something. Listen, it wasn't like again, it was a corny show, and then it just got like
Cornier to the max.
Yes, like were you just when you thought they couldn't maximize that, they were like, "Oh, we got you."
I do want to go back and finish it.
Oh boy,
I do. I want to know where it ends because I know where the original,
Full House
ended, and I want to see where these people end up. But
well, were they really?
Well, one of them ends up in prison. We know
I
that.
was out when the whole thing they went to with the koi fish and they started like talking to her or something and there was a dance thing.
I don't
okay.
remember.
I was like, no, okay.
No, I just know they
remember.
choked a koi to get a wedding ring out of it.
Yeah,
That
like
was
oh my gosh, it's like okay, guys, that's too far.
well,
That's
listen, I would say that it had a good run. Cobra Kai was really good, is really good, and I'm glad it's gonna finish in peace and we can just experience it and then move on and let something else consume us.
yes.
That being said,
Yes.
man, what's next?
All right. Let's get going. Nintendo is looking up to ramp up Switch production by a large margin due to the console's massive success. Production of the system isn't slowing down anytime soon. And this makes people wonder whether we'll be getting their next-gen console anytime soon, or will we just be stuck in Switch mania for many more years to come? What do you guys think?
Well, when you first told me about this, I was like, oh, this is not looking good for the next Switch. But then when we hopped over to IGN over here and I saw the actual article, this makes sense to me. Their headline on the article is Nintendo is ramping up Switch production ahead of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Yes, they absolutely should ramp up because there isn't a new Switch this year. But this game is coming out this year, which means there's going to be a lot of people who are going to want to Switch to play it. Also remember, Breath of the Wild, a defining game in gaming history at this point, was released almost 6 years ago. In March, it would be 6 years that it released.
That's
So 6 years ago, there were people who were born 6 years ago who at 6 years old could be playing this.
Yes.
Or there are people who were 3 or 4 years old 6 years ago who are now 9 and 10 years old and they want to play this. Or there's kids who are 6 years old who really didn't play these types of games, but now they're 12 years old and they want to play
they're
these
ready
games,
for
right?
it. Yes.
Like,
Let's not forget the Mario movies also coming out. And a lot of
Yes.
kids are going to see Mario for the first time
And even if
because
they're
they're
not
going to
big
be
gamer fans,
taken
they
to
might
see
be like,
the
I want a
movie.
Switch so I can play with this guy. Like he's a gamer too, and all that. Like a bunch of stupid
Yeah,
stuff.
so-
But they'll sell
yeah,
consoles.
between this and the new Mario movie, there's going to be a lot of people who want one.
This is going to
Nintendo
be a big surge in console purchase. But I mean, I don't even think it could get higher than that. But this seems to be set up for a pretty awesome year for the Switch.
Yes, and Nintendo will not be making more Switches if they were not selling out. So
Yeah.
the point is Zelda is getting their own, right?
Yep.
Their own design. So that's gonna sell out right away, just like Splatoon did and Pokemon. So I think they're being super smart about this and they're just squeezing out everything they can from the Switch. They did the Switch, they moved on to the OLED, then they started making the theme Switches and listen, they're killing it. That's that. The new game came out it's coming out in 2 days, but
Which
Fire
one?
Emblem.
Oh, Fire Emblem
Fire
just
Emblem?
came out, actually.
Fire Emblem.
Engage?
So,
Yeah, that's another one.
Engage, yes.
Yeah, so they definitely have games to do.
And maybe
Um,
one day we'll get Metroid Prime 4. I'm betting it'll come out right before the new system that they make.
And honestly, like this also is telling us that the next Switch is essentially guaranteed that when it comes out, it's gonna have tons of crossover games.
To play, yes,
know what I'm saying?
which is
So-
a big deal.
Yeah, so they're gonna release. It's been 6 years in March that the Switch released. Consoles nowadays are going 7 to 8 years. That being said, the Switch is much weaker, right? Like much weaker than the competition right now.
Like,
And they can't
significantly.
wait, I would say, another 2 years when all these exclusive next gen games are coming out. They can't wait. So I do not right now, but you figure in the next year or so, year or two, they're going to want to come out with the new Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So when they come out with that new Switch, they're going to have, just like the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 right now, they're going to have another 2 years after that where they're doing mostly crossover stuff.
Exactly.
So games that come out for the original Switch are still going to come out for the Switch 2, right? Like
or the Switch successor. Yeah, they're probably going to be like cross-gen. What do you mean?
Yeah, but I don't know how Nintendo's going to do that if it's just going to be as simple as buy one disc or one cartridge and it works everywhere.
Well, the big thing about Nintendo
no,
is
they're not going to be smart delivery. It's probably going to be 2 separate versions, but, it'll probably just be like old Switch games will work on new Switch, but it's not like they're going to make Switch games or Switch successor games that work on the old Switch sort of thing.
The thing about Nintendo, they always change the name of the system completely.
They will
right?
change it. They're not one to break tradition over the hit trends.
And
so,
they tend to change the way that they make the games. Like they have the cartridges, they have then the small disc, and they go back to the tiny cartridges, and like they always find a new way to deliver us the games. So I'm intrigued to see if they're gonna stay with the same concept overall.
Nintendo's like a stubborn child. They don't want to change until they're like about to go bankrupt. They're like, okay, fine. Like,
No, actually, I don't feel that. I disagree with that. I feel like Nintendo adapts very well. They're very innovative when it comes to like creating.
let's look at the transition between cartridges to discs. So ever since the NES to N64, the console sales, while they weren't dying, they were definitely declining. That's what I should say. Yeah, I think NES was at like 60 something. I could be wrong, maybe 80 something. SNES was like 49 million. N64 was like 30 something million. They were still doing cartridges. When the N64 came out, PS1 came out. That blew up, became one of the best-selling consoles of all time, 100 million plus units. And yet they've been using CDs, which are easy to mass produce and hold more storage. N64 cartridges harder to develop for, and they held less. Like, it was kind of stupid that they kept doing it. Then the GameCube, like, all right, guys, if we're gonna compete, we need to do discs. And so they decided to be like, they were like, okay, we'll do discs, but we'll make discs you can choke on. So they give you like these 2-inch discs, and they're like, all right, here you go. But the PS2 and Xbox, they were bigger, cheaper, and they could produce more. Like, they were just asking for it. The Wii, they finally got to the senses, and they actually made a normal disc. But the console was just basically a GameCube 2 and was weaker than anything else, which means that nothing would be able to fit on a Wii disc at that point. You see the trend here? The Wii U, they went HD, but the gamepad made it so difficult for them to make games for it. And the Switch, they went back to cartridges. Like, Jesus. Like, they don't want to change.
I feel like you're wasting a lot of energy on the past. Because as nice as it is to be able to say that this is what they did before, the world has changed. People have changed. The people who were running Nintendo have changed. So there's new people in charge now. And at the end of the day, they have a hit that they cannot go away from again. Because they have made the ultimate decision to take the handheld systems that were such a big part of their business and the console business that they had,
and
they merged them into one. That can never be undone.
They don't even make DSs anymore.
It can never be undone. No one's going to ever say, yeah, Nintendo, make me a Mario Kart for the handheld version only, please. And then it's okay. I'll just play a different game on my console. No. Nintendo has made a move that will forever change the way they do business.
They made a great move.
It was a phenomenal move.
It's fantastic. And they just have to stick to it, and they have to keep going and just add to that. That's their foundation.
They will keep going. And they're not going to stop. The question is, and it's not so much the question, because Nintendo's always going to put form factor first, right? So they're going to want the handheld experience to be thin and, like suave, right? Like nice, very slick. Well, I think the big thing that they're going to do is they're going to put power in the box that sits under your TV.
Listen, let's not forget that they signed a contract with Xbox to bring Call of Duty for the next 10 years.
They did.
Okay, so that's a big thing, right? About
that's a huge thing
connecting to what you're suggesting.
Good quality. They need power to make that run.
Exactly. So listen, they know things we don't know, but if you look at all the clues, you can kind of see what it's heading to, and it is
Yeah.
a more powerful system.
Yeah, it's going to be more
There's
powerful.
no way they're going to get rid of
for sure.
what makes them unique. They have, like you said, we're able to merge both, which, most systems wish they could do, right?
Yep. And remember, NVIDIA is handling it.
Mhm.
So they are capable of doing the strong mobile chips. They have, even when the Switch came out, they had a stronger chip already out. So that was 7 years ago. So right now, they're the masters of power, right?
Yeah.
In the PC world, they are a beast. And I think they're going to blow us away with what they can put into a handheld. Okay, I think that's what's going to happen. But on top of that, I think they're going to put a lot of power in the box. And what I'm thinking is that you're going to be able to take your old Switch, if you buy just the box at home, and plug in your old Switch and get power added to the Switch and be able to play the new games.
That would be dope.
That's a bit advanced though. Like the Switch comes out and it's like an old school system, but when you plug it in, it's fucking the Xbox Series X.
Okay, so let me tell you something. Right now in PC world, okay, you can take a laptop that has horrible graphic power and you can plug it into an external GPU box that you plug it in and it runs off the external GPU, shuts off the internal GPU, and now you're playing the same big boy games as anybody with a beefy desktop GPU. So exactly what I just said with the Switch, that is 100% possible, where they can take the old Switch, do a software update to it so that it can now read the new hardware box. You put it in the dock, and the dock now becomes your source for additional power. That's 100% possible, feasible. And if they're ramping up production on the Switch itself, it would make a lot of sense saying, listen, you might not be able to get the cool form factor of a Switch 2. And when you play the game, it's going to look like the old Nintendo Switch games, right? Or it's going to look like the Nintendo Switch version. But you can go home, plug that in, and get the added benefit of the new system.
That'd be real cool.
Yeah.
And listen, a lot of people are spending money on these Switches, and it shouldn't just be gone, right? Especially since they're doing it so late in the game too, right? Like they're still releasing brand new versions of this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So
I can
don't
only
know.
imagine that it's right around the corner.
I gotta say, I'm more intrigued than anything because they could.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, they can go like all in and really blow us away and be like, oh, you guys thought we weren't serious about power. Boom.
Yeah.
Super powerful system that sits under your TV, a much more advanced handheld experience, and they can go wild and blow us away. Or they can go old school Nintendo, stumble
What do
out
you
the
think,
box,
Madman?
confuse everybody, and say, this is the Switch-E.
Oh my
Switch-E.
gosh.
It's a
The
Switch.
Switchy. The Switchy. The switches back and forth.
It's a Switch, but more E-like.
It's simple. Call like Swap or Super Switch or Switch V2 if they want to
And,
get fancy.
and that would destroy
the company.
the
The company,
chances
the
of the
headquarters
new
will just blow up. It will just
And there's
explode.
that other then we'll have to wait till the new system for them to
Yeah, yeah,
have a
yeah.
hardcore hit, as Madman suggests.
The
Yeah.
next
They
is,
go
I
back
don't
and
know,
forth.
It's weird.
I don't see them.
We
I
always
don't
think
see
that
them
Nintendo should have a
messing.
normal thought process, but they always surprise us and do some stupidish, like sell us cardboard for like $70. With
I
Nintendo
feel like
logo.
Yet we buy it all.
Yeah, I know. I feel like they're not going to mess this up. I feel like they know that they hit a home run and this is the definitive way. Nobody is doing this. So they have a
Yes.
unique angle. The unique
I agree.
angle is handheld and console, one box. Now, how do you take it to the next level? By making it easier for your third-party developers to make their version of
Yes.
their game for you. If you have power in the box, people will make their high-end games for you. If you don't have a power in the box, then they're going to try to put it on the cloud or they're going to skip
What's
you.
the biggest clue for that? They signed a
Yep,
10-year
the fact
agreement
that Microsoft did that
for,
shows.
for Call of Duty.
Yeah,
so,
because they're not going to dude, they're doing exclusive next gen exclusive games going forward.
Oh my god!
You know what I'm saying? Like, going
that means
forward,
that
these
they
are all
have to
next
get
exclusive.
that to run on Switch.
So
Unless they do a cloud
exactly.
version.
So they have to know that that new Switch is going to be powerful enough.
Do you
to
guys
run a
remember
modern
when
game.
Phil Spencer was doing an interview and there was a switch behind
Oh,
him and
yeah,
everybody was
years
like,
ago.
what does it mean? What does it
Sarah
mean?
Bond had
You
it behind him?
understand that these things are like things that they talk about for years before it comes through, right? Things that they set up for.
I mean,
Wait,
not
was
this
there ever an
particular
answer to
thing
that? Like,
because
did they
this just
ever
came up with
figure out what it meant?
with
CMoney,
Activision.
Hello?
What happened?
did they ever figure out what the Switch meant? Like, what was the meaning?
No, there's no solid thing to happen. All we know is that after you see this, it shows that they're strengthening their relationship.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
And then all those little clues from before that made no sense start to click.
So I think we have an interesting next.
Or we're
2
just seeing
years.
what we want to see.
Yeah, we're just
he
making
just likes
everything
to
up
play
in
the
our head.
Switch.
Orders in 3 years, or like
Why?
2 years, or whatever they announce a new next gen system or whatever. We'll be back here, and I'll be laughing and be like, "I told you, I told you."
Right? Listen,
Right.
why will Phil Spencer have a Switch behind him and promote the Switch when he
Maybe
has
he just
Xbox?
partnership.
genuinely likes the Switch and has one.
Yeah, but
He
you
was
still
playing,
don't- you still don't
Metroid
promote
or
that
something
stuff.
Yeah, you
but-
don't just run
for a
around
while.
promoting it.
All right. So Switch, we'll see what happens. It's super exciting. What is
Slurp,
next,
slurp,
Madman?
Yes. All right. Next topic. Reportedly, both Persona 6 and Persona 3 Remake are very far in development and are ready to be formally announced in summer of 2023. Both games are reportedly targeting a 2024 release. This is crazy. Do you guys have any thoughts on this?
Yes.
My thoughts are that, Madman, you must be so freaking happy right now.
I'm really excited.
Yes, I know you were upset that they were making the portable version.
Yeah, that was lame. And even
Yes.
some people complained about it too.
You were very verbal about it. We heard a lot.
I think we did
A
hear
lot
that
about
quite a
it.
bit.
All I
So-
want for Persona 3 Remake is to merge the two. Portable and Fez. Fez is like the Persona 5 Royal of Persona 3.
Well, here
And,
you
like,
go,
upgrade.
Madman.
Okay, well, now you
Just
got to
turn them
remake.
into one
So-
giant.
So they're not going to put any of them together because they're remaking the game completely. So both of the versions don't matter anymore.
No, I mean it's the content from both. Like,
Yeah, they're
Fez
not gonna-
didn't have just like, it wasn't like, oh, better mechanics. It had an epilogue and additional story content.
Yeah, a remake means they're remaking the whole game. So they'll put
This
whatever
is even
content,
better,
It's going to
Madman.
be even more than you were anticipating in your heart.
So look
So,
at
yeah.
that.
Now, I would say that the reality is that none of this matters, and it will be completely dead to me if it doesn't release on Xbox at the same time.
Well,
But
I
I
can't
predict-
imagine that
I
they.
predict that Persona 3 Remake will come to all platforms and Persona 6
Yeah.
will be PS5 exclusive at the beginning.
I can't imagine that Persona 6 will be PS5 exclusive.
I mean, that's a
after
big
getting
deal.
the popularity.
Sony's probably gonna have some deal with them or something.
After getting the popularity that they're getting from being on the Switch and the Xbox, I don't think they're gonna go backwards and say, you know what, let's restrain ourselves again and not sell as many
I mean, here's the
freaking
thing.
games.
This is
And
Atlas, which Atlas is known for having some pretty weird methods when it comes to releasing games and what platforms release and
well,
what,
there's method
how.
and then there's stupidity. Why will they release
They're
it just on
stupid
the
sometimes.
PlayStation?
Like, they're the guys who released a 3DS game in 2019 when the Switch was 2 years in, Persona Q2. The game sold like dirt. The game is now super valuable, but it was released on the 3DS featuring characters from Persona 3, 4, and 5 and on a console which had no Persona games. It did terrible, but it's now worth a lot and it's supposed to be pretty good. But, you know, Atlas is not the company to be like, oh, they know what they're doing.
Well, look, at the end of the day, I would love to say that the way we should think about life is always based off of the past. But new information requires to be able to be seen from different angles. And the new information is Game Pass was not alive when Persona 5 started being made. So
yeah, so this is a pathway for them
this is
to
a
like.
whole different world now
Mhm.
because nobody thought that Persona 5 would be a big hit.
No
yeah,
one
so
thought
they
so.
they didn't think that it would make sense to put it on other systems like the Switch or the Xbox,
Like, That
right?
makes sense. Like, Persona 3 got critical attention of the franchise. I mean, it wasn't a mega hit. Not a lot of people knew Persona. Persona 3 was like, critics were like, that was an amazing game. People were like, oh, now it's a good series. Persona 4, it got a little more popular. It was a shining light on the PS Vita and stuff like that. But it started to get a little better known and stuff like that. Critically acclaimed, whatnot. Persona 5, that blew up and it became a game that even people who never cared about Persona, like, take Persona from like a niche series to something that people were talking about and that was legit in the gaming world. It even was nominated Game of the Year.
I mean, that being said, let's not overhype the situation.
Yeah, it's still a smaller
niche.
game.
Like, it's nowhere near as popular as any of the big games that we're talking about.
I just think it's gotten more popular, more talked about.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, the thing is that because it's still a niche, right?
Huh?
Now they're going to know that Game Pass is a big push for it.
It got a big boost by being on Game Pass. And what happened, the situation is that by being exposed to that and people playing it who have Game Pass and word spreads about the game being a good game and all this other stuff, then the people that only have a Switch and wouldn't have bought it heard about this and they're like, oh, well, maybe I'll pick up a copy of the game. And then it just goes on and on. People who don't have Game Pass, oh, they're saying that it's good. I only have an Xbox now. I can get the game, right? Yep. So the point is that I can't see them making such a big move, seeing great results for it, and then go backwards.
Yeah, and not to mention the blow that it would be. See, you got to understand, you just got these Xbox people on board by bringing it to Game Pass. Now you're telling me the next game that comes out, you're going to say, screw you, Xbox people.
We're back to PlayStation.
We're going to PlayStation only. Guess what? Try to release that game again next time and see how fast nobody buys your shit, right? Like, that's just the reality of it, right?
I mean, it probably
was an excuse the first time.
Persona, like, I think in its first month, it sold 1 million copies, which, I mean, again, not great when you consider God of War Ragnarok sold 5 million in a week, and, like, Pokemon.
Exactly,
like,
that's what I'm saying. So there's no comparison.
Persona, it sold 1 million in a month.
Yeah, but
that's quite good.
But to be clear, like, it still doesn't matter in the grand scheme of games. It's a niche game, and that's the reality of it.
I think Persona 6 will make it where
if it's everywhere, it will. If it's only on PlayStation again, it'll be the same niche game that it always was, and it will stay that way. Because right now, the amount of people who bought it on Xbox is way less than the amount of people who would buy Part 6 on Xbox. Because there's a lot of salty people out there.
Yeah.
And like just me, think about it. I haven't even.
You didn't play Persona 5, but you're like threatening, like, this better come to Xbox or I will never think about it again.
Let me help you out. The fact that it came to Xbox makes me want. Now, it's an old game, though, right? So the fact that it came to Xbox, I'm not excited to. I mean, I want to try it, but it's not like, oh my God, it's an old game.
This is more like.
I want a new one.
Like, this
Make
is like
Part 6, and I will play that and try that out for sure.
Well, this is like a demo for Persona 6 almost, like an indirect demo. I mean, that, like, you're going to play some of it, maybe an hour, but. The idea is that this is basically like, okay, if I at least generally like the idea of it, the gameplay, if it's solid enough, I'll give Persona 6 an actual shot, basically.
Exactly.
But then that's what I mean, where they can't go backwards, or they shouldn't, at least.
Yep. Because they'll shit the bed.
At the end of the day,
really sad. Persona 5 really is a great game, and I think Persona 6, if they go in that direction, which honestly, there's rumors that Persona 6 might not even have high school students. It might actually focus on older characters, which that might be interesting. And even some words about female protagonists. But so, you know, this might be something to shake it up. So.
I wonder if the older characters would be some of the more popular characters that they've had throughout.
That'd be dope.
Right?
I don't know, Persona 1 and 2 kind of did that. Like, they weren't older. I mean, I think they were a bit older. But they were still, like, either like late high school or... I think even Persona 2 might have been with older people, but yeah, they didn't pop off. Persona 3 popped off when they introduced social links, and they had the high school like sort of thing and whatnot. And people try to copy it. Fire Emblem tried to do it with 3 houses. They kind of added the social links and like the school system, which honestly, as well as it was critically acclaimed, it was definitely a much slower paced and definitely did not feel like Fire Emblem. It just felt like a worse version of Persona 5. But,
I don't know why this reminds me so much of like a Gossip Girl show or like, you know what I'm saying? Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about taking down bad people. And it's in like the Phantom Thieves are almost like this internet sensation and all that. Like the Phantom Thieves and whatnot.
Well,
so,
listen, I think the most important thing for us to find out is if they're going to release it. Now, let me be clear. If Persona 6 is as close as they claim it is, I do not think that it started out on Xbox. I think they started it with the idea of doing it on PlayStation. But remember, if they just announced that it's coming, they can say it's coming on Xbox. It doesn't have to be ready on Xbox yet.
Yes.
They can just finish making it. Like whenever they announce it, they're not going to announce it and it's going to be like, oh, it's coming out this year. No. If they announce it now, it'll come out next year. Next year will be more than enough time for them to port the game from PlayStation to Xbox.
They did that with Persona 5. Like, the game was announced 2 years before it actually came out, 2015. They announced the game will be a PS3 exclusive, which I don't know why you would do that in 2015. And then afterwards, it took like 2 years. They showed gameplay things. And then 2017 was the big year. And then that time, they whipped up a PS4 copy. And the PS3 version sold like dirt, and the PS4 version sold decently well.
Yeah.
I think 2 million.
So I think that's what will happen, but I don't think it's going to come out 2024. I think they'll say it's going to come out 2024, and then it'll get delayed to 2025. And then that's when they'll come out on all the systems.
Like Xbox and Switch and PC.
Now, if they don't do that, they're dead to me. Now, that being said,
there's so many threats for a game you haven't even played yet.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that I won't even give them a chance. All right, next topic, brother man.
So, Square Enix confirms that Marvel's Avengers will stop receiving support after September 30th. The game will be straight up delisted from digital storefronts, and any in-game items you need to purchase will become free. This includes DLC expansions. What are your thoughts?
I'm glad I didn't play much of the single player game yet. I played a little bit, but I didn't go too far. And I'm very excited to use all the new suits. Look at that, Winter Soldier. I never tried that. I'm really excited to play it now once it dies.
I mean, the story is literally The Incredibles. Like the superheroes are banned, and then now it's this one girl with the gleam of hope that's going to unite the Avengers and stop the evil sort of thing.
Yeah, but that doesn't bother me because all movies and shows and stories are all based off of other movies and shows and stories. So I don't care what they do. All I care is how it plays and how it looks. And graphics department, stunning. Gameplay department, very fun. The only place that this stumbled was essentially just like Halo Infinite on the live service. If they would have said, guys, guess what? We're making a brand new Marvel's Avenger game. It's single player, but also co-op.
People are going to vomit because that's what it was. And it was garbage.
What the hell are you talking about? No, clown. That's not what they would have done. They would have been like, oh shit, that's dope. The problem is the live service aspect that they added to it that ruined it by making the grind and all that nonsense. If it was just a cinematic experience, a cinematic story, but you can play with 4 people or 2 people or however they wanted to frame it, that would have been fire. But because of the grind and all that nonsense, it's a waste. But now that they're making everything free, maybe a lot of that grind is not needed and it's going to be good to go. Either way, I can't wait to play it once it shuts down and dies a horrible, filthy death.
Ew!
That sounds exciting.
Super
and
exciting.
I am happy for you,
Why
CMoney.
can't just be like Insomniac that effortlessly squirts out games like Marvel Spider-Man and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales and probably Marvel's Wolverine when it comes out?
Well, they will. This is a new era. Listen, we got to get out of the live service era. Right?
Like, that was a weird point in time. Destiny's still doing it. Fortnite's still doing it. Just let them do their thing. Apex Legends. Like, they exist already. Square Enix has tried so many times. Like, Babylon's Fall. They got Platinum Games to do it. It's dying within a month or a few months or something like that. Godfall. PlayStation tried.
That's what I'm saying.
Failed.
So that's where we are. We're in a world where live service was a thing. And everybody was trying to do it. And now people are going to be like, you know what? If we do live service, people are going to hate our game and we're going to die.
Here's the thing.
So
they
we're going to
just
stop.
leave live service to the games that already did it. Like, Fortnite's going to keep being live service no matter what. Destiny, even though it's not as talked about, it's still going strong enough. That's still afloat. And Apex Legends too.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like the games that got in early are the games that are going to be the one that still go.
Yeah, you
Everything
can't compare
else,
this to Fortnite. You kidding me?
Dude, do you know how many people already play those games? You don't only have so much time in the day, dude. Like, how many battle passes can you fucking complete?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's only so many you can do. Like, I'm kind of regretting that when I bought Fall Guys because I wanted SpongeBob.
Oh, Fall Guys thing. Yeah.
Like, when the hell are we going to get a chance to play?
Oh my God, wait. People are upset. Did you hear that there was a leaked image of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and apparently there's a Battle Pass tab, and now people are upset.
I heard about
live
that.
action elements.
I heard about that. That would be
horrible.
Horrible.
Oh my God, the game will be ruined. Rocksteady's career is over.
It wasn't a
Their
leak.
reputation's over.
I hope that was just a
glitch.
No, that they looked at it at some point and they were looking at making it work, and somebody grabbed that screenshot and sent it to us.
You meant that was like a typo, like Wolf's Battle Pass. We meant to say Batman.
Dude, when they announced it, they said there's not. They already confirmed that there wasn't. So if they changed it, they're fudged. Like that
that's
would
so
be
bad.
horrible.
Not only do they lie to their consumers,
I would be
but
so mad.
like,
dude.
oh my god, and that would
Suicide
ruin the
Squad
game. The
actually
game
looks
that means
really
the
good.
game, the combat system would have to be addictive and plain like combat, so people just want to keep doing it again and
Like,
again.
I don't
like
care.
drugs.
I don't care if they have a battle pass, right? Like if they give me a battle pass that I'm just playing the game and I can unlock certain things, or if we play co-op, we can unlock certain things. That's dope. But I don't want the live service grind
sort
of
of
shit.
thing.
Like that's crazy. All right. Let's not get too wrapped up in the world of live service.
Square Enix
What
nasty
is our
garbage.
next victim over here?
Well, it starts with a J. I'll give you 2 guesses. Okay, so never mind. Jason Momoa suggests that he will be sticking around James Gunn's DCU after all. Whether he'll come back as Aquaman or a different character entirely is unknown. Yeah, he's been saying some funny stuff that alludes to his inclusion in James Gunn's plans to reinvent the DCU. What do you guys have to say about that?
Well, I'm actually interested in what Doodle has to say about this, because I really grew to like Jason Momoa, but I know Doodle did not like
No.
him.
Jason Momoa needs to let it go. Let it go. Okay? Elsa. It's time to let it go. It's over, bro. I can't imagine with a reset that they're going to bring him back in any other way, or like to place another character. I thought the point was to bring in youth and reset and, new muscles or something. Better story. I say, let's work on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say I agree with that. I don't know. Jason Momoa, I mean, it's sure it'd be cool for them to spare him and whatnot, but will it happen? I have no idea. And should they? Who the heck knows? I mean, like projects like this, they're crazy to me. Like how Disney did the unthinkable. You guys know where I'm going with this, right? Disney, the crazy psychos they are, decided that it'd be funny to make a Tron 3. Because Tron 3 has
did
officially
not
been
know
confirmed.
where you were going, being that I
didn't know
didn't
either.
get to really say
Go
anything
ahead.
about our
he's-
boy Jason Momoa.
He's talking about how he can be funny, he could be this, he could be that. It's like,
Yeah, so
we saw him on Steve, right?
Yeah,
The-
so that's
the
my
show.
thing, right? So that's where I transformed. When I first saw him, I didn't really care for him too much, but then I saw him on the Apple TV show.
But I like the
See.
show. It's not
Yeah, but I like him as a character. He, especially that first season, he was such a big part of it.
Yeah,
Like, as
but I
far
don't
as-
see it. He's talking about being like versatile. I don't see that.
What do you mean? He's funny.
Is he looking or just
Maybe both.
A creep.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I can see it both ways.
But yeah, I mean, I think I like the fact that he'll still be Aquaman if he wants to. I like the fact that they're kind of keeping it loose with him, and if he wants to play a different character, like that's cool. I mean, he seems like a cool guy. So, all right,
Yeah.
now you could be on your way to Tron.
Well, yeah, okay. Tron 3 has been confirmed to be in the works at Disney. It will star Jared Leto as the protagonist. Whether it will be a theatrical release or Disney Plus one is currently unknown. What do you guys have to say about that?
I don't really care about a new Tron, but Jared Leto, it's like insane. In the best of ways.
Doodle does like Jared
he
Leto.
is a phenomenal freaking actor. He can
Don't say that to
transform.
Morbius.
He can transform into anything.
I mean,
Hey,
he's
listen,
literally Jesus Christ.
I haven't not seen the movie. I was excited to see the movie, and I'm going to watch it. However,
Whoa, wait. Let's take a second.
yes,
Morbius got terrible reviews. Don't we like shows with terrible reviews in movies? Black Adam,
we
Velma.
tend to, right?
Well, why just be diehard Morbius fans?
right?
It's Morbin time.
That'd be
I
really
loved him
funny.
as the Joker. This is like an actor at a whole new level. Talk about being able to play any role and just, he's like a chameleon. He reminds me of her. Yes. What's her name?
Margaret Robbie.
Yes. I feel like she embraces a role and she becomes that character. He's the same way for me. That type of actor that can just take you wherever they're playing, whatever they're playing, and just really sell you the character.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool that he's gonna be in it. I don't know how much character depth is gonna exist for him to make something out of in Tron. But
Yeah, but
He's gonna define himself on a motorcycle.
yeah,
I don't really care for that
I feel
particular
Tron
movie.
is the
but
least exciting IP that Disney owns.
Really?
Agreed.
But that's maybe because
Maybe
I was
that's
never
why
big on it in the original
But
days
maybe
back in the
that's why
day.
they got such a good actor. We'll see.
Maybe they're gonna transform it into something special. Who knows?
We'll see.
Maybe they're gonna really blow our minds, you know?
I'm not necessarily looking forward to it. So the best thing that I can say is that they picked a good actor to be in the movie.
That's good.
Well,
And
that's it, bro.
CMoney just said it for me. That's gonna be a wrap for this Madman podcast. Guys, if you
that
like
was good,
this,
man. That
be
was
sh-
good.
What?
That was good. It was a good episode.
Yes, that was a great podcast.
episode
So
I had
one.
fun.
I want to
Podcast.
reveal something here.
Oh.
I'm going to
Oh.
reveal something.
Oh.
For the people
Oh, you heard that beautiful
who
voice.
are watching
That
this,
beautiful voice.
I want them to know that this was actually the second time we recorded this entire podcast, because the first time we recorded, OBS broke down and deleted the entire hour and a half podcast we recorded.
It is longer this time.
It is longer this time, and we talked about a lot of different things. Like that other podcast is basically could have been added to this podcast because we hit a
Seriously,
lot of
everything-
different ways of talking
I feel
about it.
like everything was different that we spoke about. It wasn't like a do-over of the same exact thing. It was the same topics, but we really took a whole different take on it because it felt completely different. But yes, we did record this twice. Back to back almost.
And if you are hearing this, put in the comments that you know we recorded it twice.
Yes.
If you do, there's a good chance you might get picked for that pop.
Yes.
Good
So we
chance.
can
Second
participate in the
time's the
actual
best time.
contest, you know?
Now you can get us out of here, man.
All right. Guys, if you like this, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Mario Kart Madman, out.